the chosen one. Have you ever been startled by the sudden, inexplicable presence of certain creatures inside your personal space? Imagine a moment. A moth flutters in just as you're contemplating a huge life change. A spider meticulously weaves a web right after you've felt a moment of deep, quiet clarity. A solitary bee appears when you're overwhelmed with work, or perhaps a sudden flurry of butterflies on a day you decide to pursue an old dream. It's easy for most people to dismiss these events as mere quirks of nature, simply the random intrusion of wildlife into the human sphere. But deep within, you sense a significant pattern, a feeling that the unseen world is communicating with you using a language that bypasses the limitations of ordinary sight. What if these momentary visitors are not accidental guests but deliberate emissaries, bearing crucial information across countless millennia in every sacred text, indigenous tradition, and spiritual practice worldwide? The appearance of animals has rarely been viewed as a simple coincidence. They were consistently interpreted as powerful omens, necessary affirmations, or vivid spiritual warnings. In the cosmology of many beliefs, the spiritual universe chooses the canvas of nature as its primary means of audible expression, particularly when a person's soul is attuned enough or awake enough to perceive what the majority overlooks or ignores. And this is the profound truth that often resonates deep within the soul. These creatures do not pick a location by chance. They manifest precisely where their message will be received, where a soul is actively undergoing a process of protection, guidance, testing, or a profound awakening. So let's revisit that initial question. Is this just random chance, or is it a direct spiritual communication? We're going to delve into the meaning of some of the most powerful and often seen animal messengers. You'll want to absorb every word of this, because once you grasp the spiritual significance of each of these animal encounters, your perspective will shift entirely. You'll stop seeing them as nuisances and start recognizing them as patterns of guidance, direct answers to silent questions, or even the divine confirmation of a prayer you whispered privately when you felt completely alone. Before we plunge into these revelations, take a moment. Please hit the like button for this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet joined our community, and share the number 88 in the comments. Why the number 88? In numerology and the spiritual journey, 88 represents abundance, infinite flow, and the balancing of the spiritual and material worlds. It signals the moment you are about to receive something great. By commenting, you align your energy with this impending revelation. Tonight, a powerful truth is about to be unveiled to you. When a moth suddenly enters a space, most people are simply annoyed by the fluttering, often viewing it as a symbol of trivial distraction or irritation. However, the spiritual world speaks not in loud pronouncements but in subtle, potent symbols. The moth is one of the most powerful signs a soul can encounter on its journey. A moth only appears when the cycle of seeking is beginning in your life. It shows up when a deep, soulful yearning has taken root within you, compelling you to move towards a distant, often faint, inner light. Even if you don't fully comprehend the nature of this search, the moth confirms that something inside you is awakening to a higher purpose. It is the beginning of a profound spiritual quest, a moment where old comforts lose their appeal. Consider the essence of the moth. It is a creature of the night, drawn relentlessly and often dangerously toward the brightest light it can perceive. It moves with a singular focus, even though the world around it is hidden in shadows and silence. Spiritually, this mirrors the journey of the chosen ones perfectly. Your inner struggles, the silent sacrifices you make, and the battles you fight in isolation are unseen by everyone else. Yet despite the confusion and darkness, you continue to move forward, irresistibly drawn to a light only your soul recognizes. That unwavering dedication is the moth's energy. Therefore, when a moth appears in your home, the message is not one of confusion. The message is to trust your deepest yearning. You are being guided to something much more significant than your current circumstances. Maybe a calling you've avoided, a purpose you've dismissed, or a spiritual truth you've been too afraid to face. The moth is a confirmation that the spiritual forces have acknowledged your yearning and are actively working to pull you toward your destined light. Even if you feel uncertain or completely unprepared for the shift, there is an even more profound layer to the moth's symbolism. Moths navigate by using the moon or distant stars, following the light source with incredible accuracy. Spiritually, the moth appears when your deepest longings, your heart's desires, and your sincere prayers are starting to pull you onto the correct path. You may have felt that your requests were falling on deaf ears, but in reality, they were setting your spiritual compass. The universe is responding, though not always in the way your logical mind expected or defined. The moth enters your dwelling when your spirit is transitioning from a state of passive waiting into an active state of seeking. This is why the moth rarely appears during seasons of ease or complacency. It typically shows up during moments of quiet discontent, existential questioning, or the strangely hopeful emptiness that precedes a spectacular new spiritual direction. You might not see the clarity yet, but the divine purpose guiding you is fully aware of your position and path. The most profound realization is this: the confusion or darkness you might feel is not a punishment for something you've done wrong. It is a necessary passage, a spiritual tunnel. And tunnels exist only because there is a powerful, beckoning light waiting for you on the other side. So if a moth has made an unexpected appearance in your space, stop and pay attention. Your soul is being called. You are moving into an entirely new phase, and whether you feel ready or not, the universe is providing the light for your navigation. When your destiny decides it's time to move, the comfortable state of inertia is no longer an option. If the message of the moth stirred your soul, prepare yourself for what the next subtle visitor signifies. The spider moves with complete and almost unnerving silence. It does not announce its arrival, crash into your awareness, or demand your immediate attention. It simply appears, often in a high corner or silently weaving its intricate structure. And that quiet, determined action instantly communicates a powerful spiritual truth. The spider arrives when the spiritual world is actively assessing and constructing the environment around you. It is the definitive symbol of silent creation, a tireless weaver that makes no noise but perceives and connects everything. Most people simply try to remove it, viewing a spider on the wall as nothing more than a creepy crawly. But spiritually, the spider is a critical messenger of mastery and intentional design. It shows up when the energetic threads of your destiny are being meticulously woven together. A spider on your wall is not staring into oblivion. It is actively monitoring the unseen connections of your life. It senses minute vibrations, subtle shifts in energy, and potential traps. On a spiritual level, it represents your power of manifestation and self-determination awakening, a silent reminder that the reality you will inhabit tomorrow is a direct result of the intentions and efforts you are setting today. Many chosen ones forget this simple truth. The most beautiful results are often built through quiet, deliberate effort, not grand, loud declarations. The spider comes as a potent reminder. Pay close attention to the small, seemingly insignificant details you're putting into your life right now. Notice the energy you dedicate to your goals, the patterns of your daily thoughts, and the deliberate creation of your environment. You are being guided to recognize that you are the master weaver of your own fate, actively constructing your future moment by moment. When a spider consistently returns to the same specific location, the same window, the same corner, the same desk, it is far from random. Spiritually, it is marking a point of creative power. It is highlighting a territory where your mental energy, your focus, or your intention needs to be concentrated for the greatest impact. Sometimes the spider builds near your workspace, the place where your ideas are birthed. Other times, it positions itself near your resting area, reminding you that your dreams are the very seeds of your next creation. And here is the powerful secret most people never grasp. Spiders are capable of building intricate functional structures out of their own essence. Spiritually, this symbolizes the power of self-sufficiency and inner resourcefulness. It's a warning. Do not wait for external validation, assistance, or permission to begin building the life you desire. Use the resources already within you. The spider does not fear heights, open spaces, or the necessity of starting over. It is the spirit of strategic design, knowing exactly when to wait for the perfect moment and when to tirelessly spin a new web. When this creature appears, The world around you is not as fixed as it seems. Your energy is actively shaping it. Something is being manifested. Your destiny is being built, often in secret, quiet moments. So if a spider has entered your home, or if you keep finding its intricate work in the same place repeatedly, understand this. Your power is being activated. Your ability to create is being sharpened. The unseen is being constructed silently by your intention. But while the spider weaves your external reality, there is another animal that demands that you look at your internal landscape. This creature doesn't just show up to weave or watch. It comes to interrupt and demand attention. When it arrives, it signifies that the universe is forcing a confrontation with an overdue shadow within. The cockroach is arguably the most misunderstood spiritual envoy because its arrival is never pleasant. It does not present itself beautifully. It appears uncomfortably, often in a panic, and spiritually, that discomfort is precisely the point. The cockroach is the symbol of all the unfaced, avoided truths of the soul. Emotional debris, suppressed trauma, festering wounds, and all the spiritual clutter you've tried to pretend doesn't exist. They appear when an aspect of yourself you've desperately tried to bury is now demanding to be acknowledged and addressed. Think about the conditions where cockroaches thrive. In the dark. Hidden crevices, places that are neglected and unexamined. Spiritually, these are the exact locations where people hide their deepest hurts. We say, "I'm okay," or "I've moved past it," or "It's no big deal." But the spiritual reality is that the universe sees every single thing you have pushed down. The subconscious mind remembers every pain the conscious mind tried to dismiss. When healing is long overdue, the cockroach serves as a jarring messenger of necessary confrontation. Its physical presence is deeply symbolic. It is a powerful reminder that running away from your internal shadows does not diminish them. It feeds them. Every fear that is ignored grows stronger. Every piece of suppressed grief becomes a poison. Every truth that is avoided becomes a spiritual anchor holding you back. And sometimes the only way the soul can finally scream, "Enough!" is by letting what was hidden scramble into the light. This explains why cockroaches appear suddenly, often at night. They are unexpected, unwanted, and uncontrollable. Spiritually, the message is identical. You cannot schedule when your unresolved pain will resurface. You cannot dictate the moment your spiritual dam will break. Healing comes when it chooses, not when it is convenient or neatly scheduled into your busy life. Many chosen ones are experts at silently carrying monumental emotional burdens. They project strength for everyone else, maintaining a facade of being entirely put together so as not to cause concern. But when the spirit is suffocating under the weight of unexpressed, unacknowledged feelings, the cockroach becomes a symbol of spiritual intervention. It forces you to finally look at and name the precise thing you have been running from. Here is the essential, often mistruth. Cockroaches survive virtually everything: fire, immense pressure, and overwhelming toxic environments. They are incredibly difficult to eliminate completely. Spiritually, this mirrors the one deep-seated thing within you that you have not truly conquered because you have never honestly looked at it. A persistent negative belief, a lingering betrayal, a crippling fear, an unhealed wound. The cockroach silently poses the difficult question your soul has been dodging. What dark corner are you still neglecting? It does not come to shame you. It comes to shatter the cycle. It is sent to expose the emotional decay before it can spread and become fatal. To compel you to perform a deep spiritual and emotional cleaning, where you kept up the dangerous pretense that everything was already clean. It is uncomfortable, yes, but it is utterly necessary for your breakthrough. The universe will often not allow you to advance or move forward until you finally deal with the lingering emotional poison that has been slowly crippling your spirit. If cockroaches are appearing with frequency, especially in the same specific room, that space is symbolically saturated with emotional residue. A room holding old regrets, a place of silent tears, or an area where painful, unaddressed arguments occurred. The physical manifestation is a direct mirror of the spiritual reality. But remember this crucial key. Cockroaches only appear so that the cleaning process can begin. They are not the root problem. They are the messengers revealing the problem. Once the hidden is sincerely faced, once the painful wound is honestly acknowledged, the infestation of discomfort will eventually end. Healing delayed is a slow death. Healing embraced is life completed. The cockroach may bring a message of intense discomfort, but profound breakthrough always follows that discomfort. Because once those stubborn, sticky shadows are exposed to the light of your awareness, something extraordinary is set into motion. The spiritual world doesn't just communicate, it actively intervenes. And the next visitor doesn't appear to confront or cleanse. It arrives to powerfully reinforce your inner strength. Each of these animal encounters delivers a unique, targeted message. But here is the most important revelation that most people never fully grasp. These signs only manifest for those whose spirits are awake enough to notice them. The universe does not expend energy sending signals to closed eyes and sleeping minds. When creatures cross the porous boundary between the wilds of nature and the sanctuary of your home, it is a testament to the fact that something deep within you, a level of perception, a core awareness, has been activated, a consciousness that the majority of humanity has yet to reach. Why does the spiritual realm utilize animals as messengers? Because animals are pure truth. They do not lie. They do not maintain a false front. They operate solely on instinct, responding directly to shifts in energy, vibration, and frequency. They are invariably drawn toward places where a major spiritual transformation is unfolding. When an animal enters your home, it is not merely crossing a physical threshold. It is entering your personal energetic atmosphere, your very spiritual field. This ensures that the message is delivered directly, bypassing the filtering of your often skeptical mind, and landing directly in your soul. The world mistakenly believes the universe shouts its guidance, but the chosen ones know the truth, the divine whispers, and symbols are the eloquent language of the unseen. Humans are prone to ignoring what is subtle, but animals are not. They are pulled by an innate instinct, the same instinct that responds to a heartfelt prayer, a spiritual warning, a moment of deep cleansing, or the presence of danger. When your life enters a period of high transition, your immediate environment reflects that change long before your consciousness does. So, how do you correctly interpret these powerful signs? First, deeply observe what was occurring in your life that specific day. Were you facing exhaustion, preparing to make a painful decision, ending an old phase, or initiating a major new project? Animals always arrive with impeccable timing. Their appearance is a direct mirror of your current spiritual or emotional condition. Second, take note of your internal emotional atmosphere. Were you plagued by sudden anxiety, feeling strangely drained for no reason, enveloped by a deep peace, or inexplicably tearful? Sometimes the message is not about the external events happening around you, but about the critical internal state within you. The universe will dispatch a clear warning when betrayal is near, provide comfort when your heart is silently breaking, or initiate a cleansing when you are desperately clinging to what must depart. Third, document the encounter immediately. People often dismiss or forget signs because they rely solely on flawed memory, rather than trusting intuition. But when you record the pattern, the day, the exact time, the feeling it evoked, and the specific animal, a powerful and incredible process begins. You start to see the inescapable connection. The individual messages align. You realize with chilling certainty that nothing was random. It was all meticulous guidance. Because this is the immutable law of the spiritual realm. The sign only arrives when the soul is perfectly ready to receive it. Not a moment too soon, not a moment too late. Only when your spirit can truly absorb the depth of the meaning. The moth appears when the searching begins. The spider arrives when the creation is active. The cockroach surfaces when overdue healing can no longer be avoided. Some will inevitably dismiss all of this, scoffing that it's simply just nature. They will mock what their limited sight cannot perceive. But chosen ones do not look with their physical eyes. They look with their sharpened spirit. And once you start recognizing these profound, deliberate signs, your life will begin to operate on a completely different frequency. You will cease forcing connections that are clearly breaking. You will stop entrusting your peace to situations that intuitively feel wrong. You will stop ignoring the profound inner knowing your soul already possesses. The universe does not send these dramatic warnings to terrify you. It sends them to protect and save you. It does not deliver these messages to confuse you. It sends them to provide precise, unwavering guidance. The moment you decide to fully pay attention, you activate a deeply powerful and sacred mechanism, spiritual partnership. You are no longer walking through your life alone and unassisted. You are being meticulously led, chosen one. You now hold the understanding. There is nothing truly random in the spiritual world. Every spiritual sign has a powerful, specific purpose. Every animal encounter carried a crucial message the universe desperately wanted you to receive. The moth was your yearning light. The spider was your creative power. The cockroach was a necessary confrontation. None of them entered your space by accident. They came because your spirit is actively waking up. You are beginning to perceive the invisible world in the way that the chosen ones were always designed to. And now, embrace the deepest truth of all. Perhaps what you casually dismissed as just an animal was, in fact, the direct, tangible answer to the silent prayer you breathed out on a dark night. A whisper from the highest source, a celestial signal, a message from the spiritual realm declaring, you are seen, you are heard, you are being guided. From this moment forward, you have a heightened perception. You will never walk blindly again. There is a profound, undeniable reason these specific messages found their way to you. It is because your destiny urgently required you to be awake, alert, and powerfully aligned. Now I ask you openly, which of these messengers has visited your house? Share your experience below. Your personal story is not just your own. It becomes a beacon of light for another soul who is navigating the same spiritual season and desperately seeking interpretation. When one chosen one speaks the truth, it awakens others. If this message resonated deeply within you, if your spirit felt its truth, if your heart knows it was meant for you, ensure you are subscribed. There is so much more you are destined to learn, more powerful signs you must recognize, and more spiritual truths that will fundamentally change the way you navigate this world. May your spiritual eyes be wide open. May your intuition become your dominant guide. May every single sign that appears in your life bring you clarity, protection, and divine purpose. You are guided. You are guarded. You are chosen. And the universe is only just beginning to speak with you.